The big story of the morning is that debate in Philadelphia between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I think it went on for about an hour and three quarters, hosted by ABC. Kamala Harris, I think it's fair to say, got underneath Donald Trump's skin, needled him quite a bit. Let's listen to some of the exchanges. Here's Kamala Harris reminding viewers that they once voted Donald Trump out of office and he refused to accept it.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
I actually loved that line. Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. She scored quite a lot of pithy, I think, blows on Donald Trump last night. I think Donald Trump was on the defensive. I think he looked angry. He looked kind of taciturn. He looked kind of grumpy and put out throughout the debate, which wasn't a fantastic look for him. She seemed, and I suppose she is very comfortable, Shane. She's a prosecutor with great deal of court experience. She seemed quite comfortable in the role. Let's take a little listen to Donald Trump accusing Kamala Harris of having no policy or indeed stealing his own.
She has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy, but...
Yeah, Donald Trump there trying to needle Kamala Harris. She was probably more successful in relation.
I think she got under his... Well, that's probably, he's a very fragile, egoed man.
He is.
She got under his skin, I think, more than he got under hers. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, she said that world leaders were laughing at him. The biggest insult you can give to Donald Trump is that somebody's laughing at him. She also focused in on the size of his rallies. Donald Trump likes to talk about how big his rallies are and how well attended and how everyone loves those rallies. But Harris told viewers to attend a Trump rally to understand what it's really like.
Do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
One of the big issues of the night, of course, was abortion. In the main, American voters appear to support the Harris position on abortion ahead of the Trump position. That seems to be more popular among Democrats, and indeed there's a sizable proportion of Republicans as well. Trump had some interesting things to say last night on abortion, which actually led to there was fact-checking that went on last night, which hasn't happened in previous debates to the same extent. And Trump obviously sometimes makes fairly wild statements. Have a little listen to what Trump had to say about abortion last night.
Vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me.
And Shane, that was fact-checked as there is no state where it is legal to do that. So very interesting, all that sort of pushback against him.
Donald Trump wasn't happy with the moderators from ABC afterwards, went into the press room, which was quite unusual in itself for him to do so, and complained about he felt they were not impartial. Harris herself hit back at the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade. Have a listen.
Women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that.
Yeah, Harris taking the abortion issue in a far more serious way. She was also arguing, Shane, that Trump is going to enact this controversial ultra-conservative Project 2025, which a lot of people, if you're familiar with social media, will have heard talk of this. Trump, on the other hand, wasn't owning Project 2025, certainly in the debate last night.
We're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again.
You know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it.
I suspect the line that will be played most often over the coming 24 hours, though, Ciara, on social media at least, is Donald Trump repeating what are debunked claims that immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, are killing and eating people's pets. Have a listen.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. The people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So
this is like something out of The Simpsons. Do you know what I mean? When I heard Springfield, they're eating the pets, I thought this is like The Simpsons, the movie. And indeed, that has been debunked as well. A fascinating, I suppose, insight into American politics. I think it was Donald Trump may have been as well that there was no live audience last night when he was making the claim about people eating your cat, because I suspect people would have actually laughed because it sounded...
I think you could hear Kamala Harris laughing in the background.
It sounded so ludicrous. Really interesting insight into politics. Kamala Harris, who, you know, she's been down a little bit in the polls in the sort of the past week, Shane. I think it was 49 versus 48%.
Yeah, I think her momentum has stalled in the last few days.
I think this will have put a little bit of wind in her sails as well. Of course, I'm sure it was completely coordinated directly after the debate. The Taylor Swift movement got behind Kamala Harris. And I mean, you might dismiss that, but the popularity of Taylor Swift cannot be underestimated, and the impact and the influence that she has, particularly between young female voters, cannot be, I think, overstated. A very powerful move. A lot of moves from Donald Trump to try this. Everyone wanted to be the candidate of change last night, and lots of moves by Donald Trump to associate, I suppose, Kamala Harris with the Biden administration. And she was very strongly going, and she kind of slapped him down. You're running against me. She kind of made him look foolish a few times.
Yeah, well, I suspect Donald Trump's advisors were really frustrated because some of Kamala Harris's answers, particularly at the start on the economy, were actually quite weak. And Donald Trump did not come in, did not challenge her on those, did not press her on those. And then instead kind of went off script on issues. You assume he went off script when he started talking
you would
about
hope he went off
immigrants easing pets and so on. So I imagine they'll be really frustrated. Look, will it have a big impact on the election? We just don't know. And it generally takes days and even weeks before we can assess the impact of it.
Did you think at any point that he had her on the back foot? He is strong on immigration, and the Democrats are, you know, considered by quite a lot of people to be slightly weaker on immigration than the Republicans.
I think he was too rambling in his answers. I think he was too unfocused. He probably even looked unprepared. I think the key point is that he went into the press room after the debate. That to me suggests that he felt he was beaten, even though, of course, he probably wouldn't even admit it to himself.
Look, it will still all come down to the swing states. That's how American politics works. I think in a CNN poll after the debate last night, 63% of people said Kamala Harris won. But of course, CNN is largely a liberal, democratic...
Fake news, as Donald Trump would say.
Democratic viewed station. And that's how it works over there. There's one side and there's the other side, both punching away. It is still all to play for, but it was a very interesting debate. And I think it was Kamala Harris's debate to lose, and I don't think she did that. And I think that will actually hold her very well.
Yeah, it was a good night for Kamala Harris. Let's not go any further than that, because impossible to know. But it seems like she had a good night. Yeah,
let us know what you think. If you did stay up last night and watch it, we'd love to hear from you. Equally, if you're just seeing the news and the coverage of it this morning, it is everywhere. What did you make of last night's debate? I know when we talk about American politics, we get a huge amount of Trump supporters here on the show. We're interested in hearing from you too, because we've both called it for Kamala Harris. Let us know what you think this morning. 087 1400 106 is the WhatsApp.